Hello and welcome to our brand new show, Firstpost Spotlight, where we bring you stories that matter to you from all across the world. From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, we shed light on issues that shape our world. I'm Alison Lagrange, live from Durban, South Africa. Let's begin with the top headlines. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is likely to visit the White House as soon as next week, making him the first foreign leader to meet US President Trump since his inauguration. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen meet in a show of unity after Donald Trump stressed on making Greenland a part of the United States. Serbian Prime Minister Milos Vučević resigns following months of massive anti-corruption protests over the deadly collapse of a concrete canopy in November that killed 15. Rwanda-backed M23 rebels march into eastern Congo's largest city, Goma, in the worst escalation of a long-running conflict against the Democratic Republic of Congo. And US President Donald Trump says Microsoft is in discussions to acquire TikTok, while the app's future in the country continues to face uncertainty. Hello and welcome. For every product that you can possibly buy in markets across the world, there exists a Chinese ripoff, which comes at a fraction of the cost and is equally and sometimes even more effective. From clothes to phones to laptops to refrigerators to watches to cars and even the sun. Now this brings us to the biggest update from the tech world today. A Chinese AI chatbot app has sparked chaos across global markets. The launch of the app, named DeepSeek AI, is poised to wipe off $1 trillion in value of shares of some of the world's biggest tech companies. What is DeepSeek, and why is it causing a tech stock rout? Let's understand. Now, DeepSeek is a Chinese artificial intelligence company. It emerged a couple of years ago from a university startup. It is based in Hangzhou, a city in southeastern China. The company was launched in July of 2023, but its popular AI assistance app was not released until the 10th of January this year. It was founded by Liang Wenfeng, who partly funded it using money from a hedge fund that he also launched. The 40-year-old engineering graduate reportedly built up a store of Nvidia A100 chips, which have now been banned from export to China. Experts say that these chips, around 50,000 of them, along with cheaper ones that are still available to import, led him to launch DeepSeek. So what does DeepSeek do? Well, the app is gaining popularity for its powerful AI assistant, which operates similarly to OpenAI's ChatGPT. The app's description says it is designed to answer your questions and enhance your life efficiently. However, the chatbot does not answer questions on topics banned in China or those considered politically sensitive by its government, like the 1989 Tiananmen Square massacre. But as news of DeepSeek chatbot's performance spread, hundreds of billions of dollars were wiped off big tech stocks in the US. Now, this is because DeepSeek was reportedly developed for a fraction of the cost of its American rivals like OpenAI's ChatGPT, Meta's Llama, and Google's Gemini. The company has been quietly impressing the AI world for some time now with its low-cost AI and tech innovations. The timing of the launch has been significant, as in recent days, US tech companies had pledged billions of dollars more for investment in AI. It was widely thought that large sums of money are needed to build the computing infrastructure to reach AI goals. Now, China's DeepSeek has raised questions over this narrative. Nvidia, a US-based company that makes the powerful chips that run AI, has been hit the worst in the tech market rout. Now, it lost nearly $600 billion in market value on Monday, the largest one-day drop for any company in US history. Its stock price plunged 17% over the course of the day. Nvidia has been the most valuable company in the world, but fell to third place after Apple and Microsoft on Monday. So, should Nvidia and other US tech companies be worried? DeepSeek uses less advanced semiconductor chips than the ones created by Nvidia. The success of China's DeepSeek undercuts the belief that bigger budgets and top-class chips are the only ways of advancing AI. It has created massive uncertainty about the need and future of high-performance chips. And many tech companies are wondering if they now need to buy as many of Nvidia's tools. DeepSeek's emergence across the world comes at a time when US is restricting the sale of advanced chip technology that powers artificial intelligence to its rival, China. Silicon Valley venture capitalist and Trump advisor Mark Andreessen described DeepSeek's R1, which claims to perform on par with OpenAI's 01 model, as AI's Sputnik moment. He was referring to the Soviet Union satellite launch in 1957, which kicked off the space race. At that time, the US was considered to have been caught off guard by its rival's tech achievement. And today, Washington seems to be standing at the same juncture in the world of artificial intelligence. Now, for more on this, we have with us Gry Hasselbalch. She is a senior researcher in data ethics and power and the co-founder of Data Ethics in Denmark. Welcome to Firstpost.
Thank you.
Now, what makes DeepSeek AI a significant threat to the established tech giants like Nvidia, OpenAI, and Google, particularly in terms of innovation and cost efficiency?
Well, of course, as you said in the introduction here, now we've had a global AI race that has been defined by some very big tech powers. So the ones we know already, the Microsoft, the Metas, the Googles, OpenAI, and so forth. And basically, the rules of the games have been defined as some that requires a lot of investment. And here we have then a Chinese startup that comes in from the sideline and basically does the same thing as for example, ChatGPT can do for a lot less money. And so the huge threat is basically, you could say that the card game is if you think of it as a card game with cards that's been put on top of each other, then you pull out one card and the entire game falls from and creates something new. So as you know, all of the as you've seen, all of the markets has been reacted immediately based on this new news about how a small startup, a small actor in a game that has been normally defined by big actors, suddenly can come in and change and do actually the same. So the main threat is the new narrative that we see now in terms of what kind of AI race are we in right now. And of course, we've just had last week.
Right,
Yes?
Yeah.
Sorry?
No, continue.
No, I was so last week we had the Stargate project, the AI infra project from the US being launched, which was also basically putting a number of $500 billion into this project, which was all about creating data centers and developing the chips industry. And so, of course, if you don't need an infrastructure like that, what are the new rules of the game?
Right. And how does DeepSeek's ability to function with less advanced semiconductor chips challenge the prevailing narrative that this cutting-edge AI development requires high-performance chips and, of course, as you've said, the massive budgets?
Well, so I mean, there's a lot of things we don't know exactly about this new news. So of course, DeepSeek, they're also building their models on existing work on AI, and they've been attracting talent from younger AI engineers from top universities and different things. So there's a lot of things that you could say that DeepSeek is building on existing knowledge already. But one thing that
Sure.
is for sure a fact is the fact that they've been using less chips in the development, and this has been the
Yes.
competing narratives about what to compete on globally. And so, of course, if we realize that this is only just a narrative, we have a totally new game. Um, and of course, all the big US tech companies that has been usually racing ahead and been ahead in this, like Google, Microsoft, and Meta, all of this competition has been redirected. This has been, you could say,
Yeah.
we've had a global AI race where some regions, some actors have been almost like spectators in this game. And now we see a different board game where we have actually we can see that you can
Right.
consider yourself as a startup. Maybe you can even participate in this game. And so it's a whole new narrative
Sure.
that we.
Right. And Green, what are the potential geopolitical implications of DeepSeek's success, especially considering the US export restrictions on the advanced chip technology to China and the growing rivalry in this AI innovation?
Well, I think that one of the things that we should learn from this news story is probably that the parameters of the AI global race are basically wrong, you could almost say. So basically, what we see now and what we've
Yeah.
seen the last, I would say, last decade at least, we've seen a race, a global AI race, where the parameters and the competition is based on money, investments, on developing infrastructures. Um, but at the same time, the winners in this game, if we think about it, it's ChatGPT and DeepSeek, which are basically chatbots that also have issues like copyright issues, privacy invasions. There's questions about, which you mentioned in the introduction, about censorship. And these issues are something that are not considered almost, you would say, if you have to tackle them, they're considered an inhibition of the competition. So coming from an EU perspective, where we have been developing for, again, the last decade, have been developing regulations. We just had an AI Act being negotiated in last year, at the end of last year. One of the things that the EU
Yeah.
has been told for some years now, that it's behind in terms of investment, in terms of the
Mm,
fast solutions, and so on and so forth. But if you look at it as a different
sure.
kind of competition, you have this one where you have a more responsible player that might be more advanced than the others.
Right. Thank you very much for being with us on First Post and for helping us to understand the latest on that AI race.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Now, in the United States, President Donald Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration continues. President Trump branded undocumented immigrants within the US border as illegal alien criminals and said that his administration is moving very fast with the crackdown. But despite his strong anti-immigration rhetoric, the American leader expressed optimism on New Delhi's response to Indians living illegally in the US. In the latest, President Trump said that he discussed the issue of immigration with the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Trump expressed confidence that India will do what is right when it comes to taking back illegal immigrants. Now, the White House described the talks between Trump and Prime Minister Modi as productive and said that the two leaders discussed a range of regional issues. The plans for Prime Minister Modi's potential US visit were also discussed, as Washington and New Delhi call for advancing their strategic partnership. As President Trump returned to power, illegal immigration threatened to emerge as a sore point for India-US ties. Now, to tackle this, last week, reports said that India agreed to take back 18,000 citizens who entered the US illegally. New Delhi later said that it firmly opposes illegal immigration of all kinds and remains open to the legitimate return of citizens living illegally. In return for its cooperation with Trump administration against illegal immigration, India hopes to protect legal migration channels used by its citizens to enter the US, and they are the student visas as well as the H-1B program for skilled workers. In total, there are over 5.4 million Indians in the United States, making up around 1.47% of the US population. Out of this, 34% are US-born, while the other 66% are immigrants. Now, Indians, the second largest immigrant group in the US after Mexicans, make up the majority of the H-1B visa holders. They accounted for 72.3% of the 386,000 H-1B visas in 2023. In 2022, Indian nationals secured 77% of the 320,000 approved H-1B visas. For the US President Donald Trump, the crackdown on illegal migration has been a critical campaign pledge. Within hours of his inauguration on the 20th of January, Trump pushed to end birthright citizenship and to mobilize troops on US-Mexico border. According to reports, more than 2,000 alleged illegal immigrants have been arrested across the US in the last 2 days. This is a part of Trump's mass deportation plans. A cornerstone of Trump's immigration policy is removing illegal migrants from the US, and now his central campaign promise of mass deportations is beginning to shape into reality. India, as a key strategic partner of the US, has vehemently opposed illegal immigration of all kinds. Experts say it's not in New Delhi's interest to let illegal immigrants become an impediment for the strength of the Indo-US ties. As Prime Minister Modi looks set to meet Trump soon, the question remains, have India and the US conclusively tackled the issue of illegal immigration in the interest of their larger bilateral ties? And now from Trump's anti-immigration agenda, we shift our focus to American president's move to build an Iron Dome air defense system for the United States. Addressing a gathering of House Republicans in Miami, Trump said he will sign a new executive order for the construction of Iron Dome missile defense shield.
And in a little while, I'll be signing 4 new executive orders. First is that I'm directing our new Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, who's going to be great, by the way. Thank you for the support. To immediately begin the construction of a state-of-the-art Iron Dome missile defense shield, which will be able to protect Americans. You know, we protect other countries, but we don't protect ourselves.
Building an Iron Dome is also one of Trump's campaign promises. In recent months, Trump has repeatedly expressed his desire to build an Iron Dome system for the US, just like the one operational in Israel since 2011. Iron Dome is an all-weather mobile air defense system. It defends an area against short-range rockets coming from as far as 70 kilometers. The system is capable of successfully handling multiple incoming threats simultaneously. In 2007, the United States, along with Israel, began developing an Iron Dome missile defense system. According to Israel's Ministry of Defense, the Iron Dome was developed specifically to counter the country's unique security needs. Israel primarily utilizes the Iron Dome defense system to shoot down Hamas rockets launched from Gaza. In recent times, the Iron Dome has become critical for Israel's defense against rockets launched by other militant groups in the region, such as Lebanon-based Hezbollah and Yemen-based Houthis. Now, President Trump's move to build a Pan-American Iron Dome could be a critical juncture in the U.S. defense policy. Back in 1983, the then U.S. President Ronald Reagan proposed Strategic Defense Initiative, or SDI, and its goal was to develop a shield to intercept incoming missiles. The shield was mainly to protect the US from a potential nuclear missile. The Cold War-era policy initiative was nicknamed Star Wars due to the futuristic nature of the wars that it envisioned back then. Trump has claimed that the former President Ronald Reagan was interested in having an Iron Dome-like system during the Cold War. But back in the day, Americans did not have the technology. Trump suggests that by building Iron Domes, he will simply be fulfilling a long-shelved defense policy agenda. The Iron Dome used by Israel protects the country from short-range threats, but the advantages posed by American geography mean that the US does not face risks faced by its ally in West Asia, Israel. The question remains, does Trump want to build an Iron Dome for the US as a matter of desire and prestige instead of strategic deterrence? And moving on to some news from Europe, where CocaCola has recalled its drinks from some parts of the continent, citing health concerns. Now, the company said that it detected chemical in its products. Its soft drinks had elevated levels of chlorate in them. Now, the company said that these cans and bottles with chemical were distributed in Belgium, Britain, France, Germany, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands since November. In Britain, 5 lines of products were shipped at the end of last year and had already been sold. Now, these products included Coke, Fanta, Minute Maid, Sprite, and Tropico brands. Coca-Cola said that it hadn't received any consumer complaints in Britain and had alerted the authorities on this matter. While in France, affected batches of Coke and Fuse tea were delivered, but the company's recent recall order doesn't apply to the French market. The higher levels of chlorate chemical in the drinks were discovered during routine testing. Now, these tests were reportedly carried out at Coca-Cola's Northwest Belgium facility in Ghent. Now, chlorate chemical can be found in foods. It is used as a disinfectant in water treatment and food processing. However, exposure to high levels of chlorate can cause health issues. The exposure can cause thyroid, especially among children and babies. Acute exposure can also cause nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, and diarrhea. It can damage red blood cells. People with iodine deficiency are more prone to these side effects. Now, Coca-Cola said that the expert analysis concluded that any associated risk for consumers is very low. The company added that they did not have a precise figure for the amount of drinks involved, but it was a considerable quantity. After the recall order, the company said it considers the quality and safety of its products as its top priority. Now, according to reports, the majority of these affected and unsold products have been withdrawn from markets. The company is in the process of removing the remaining products. This is not the first time when Coca-Cola is in muddy waters for its products. In the past, the company has been criticized for the role of its sugar drinks in elevating the risk of diabetes and obesity. Studies show drinking sugary drinks during childhood increases insulin resistance. It increases the risk of type 2 diabetes. Critics allege that Coca-Cola attempted to shift the blame away from its products and deflect criticism. And that's all we have on the show for today. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.
We're calling the show Vantage. We hope you like what we put together for you. Touted as the minimum defense from that video. India's neighbors were the first to send the special edition of Vantage live from the White House throughout this week. Yes, Hindu Mandir in we're on our way to Tel Aviv. Measure, but it's also the perfect way to drive
I don't think that
Prime Minister of Bhutan, Sherin Tagwe. Welcome to
60% of the world's
office. Prime Minister Modi did the iron.
we were actually
How are you doing? How do you like? It's been 1 year since that meeting. Iron bars separate you from the outside. Out the vote effort. Trump had, it says, and at $4.3 trillion. 4.3 300 billion by 2030. That's what we need to tackle climate change.